all of Monday, I was hearing the grievances of a lot of wrestling fans, from the Lex Man, the Full Metal Ninja, to the Wrestling Jesus, to even the Archfiend, who rarely watches wrestling. They all have their opinions about how the WWE is handling Daniel Bryan. How they feel that they're not listening to the wrestling fans. And I'm one of those people that feel like, yeah, maybe the WWE is being stupid enough to not put over Daniel Bryan. And there are times I actually thought about ways of saying, like, well, maybe they're doing this and that. But here's the thing that I've realized, and this is something that even the Archfiend has noticed. Now, after the Royal Rumble, we saw a tweet from Daniel Bryan talking about his disappointment that he's not in the Royal Rumble match, talking about the machine is holding him down and stuff like that, that he's unhappy. Now, when I saw this too, I was like, okay, why would a person who is contracted make grievances on Twitter for the whole world to see? And right away I thought about, I think this whole time it might be a work, and even Daniel Bryan is in on it the whole time too. And then when we saw Raw, I saw Raw on YouTube, and I have to say I was actually on point that this thing might be a freaking work. He's confronting Triple H and confronting Stephanie of the fact that what they're doing is like, oh, you're holding me back, you're not listening to the fans and stuff like that. And then him going against the Shield and stuff like that, you know. I know people were thinking like, well, Dolph Ziggler's spoke his mind, now he's in mid-card hell and stuff like that. But doesn't seem that Dan Bryan's in mid-card hell at all. In fact, he's still being a focal point to the WWE. So it makes you think that this whole time, this whole storyline, this whole WWE screwing Dan Bryan is nothing more than a work. It's been a work from the very beginning that Daniel Bryan came to the WWE. Think about it. When we first heard that Daniel Bryan's mentor was going to be The Miz, I think the WWE knew that there was going to be a huge outcry from the fans about it, because we all have seen Bryan Danielson's career before WWE. We have all watched it, we all followed it, and we all thought like, wait a minute, this is BS. But guess what? It made us want to watch NXT to find out what's going to happen. And we follow NXT because of Daniel Bryan. Then, after that, him getting fired and stuff like that, you would think that a person who was outspoken about the whole the WWE wants the big guys, that want people that makes themselves, don't want to go back to the company. But yet, they brought him back, and he was happy with it. And I think that Daniel Bryan has a lot of self-respect to the point where he wouldn't stay in a company where he doesn't feel happy in it. I mean, look at Kaval. Kaval left the company because he was unhappy. Even Caitlyn left because she was unhappy. Think about that. And another point I want to also make is that he also confronted Vince McMahon on a number of occasions before last year, and then they did the whole authority thing. And every time they confront each other, they've always been arguing the same thing. I'm a small guy and stuff like that. I'm a small guy. And Vince McMahon's actually making fun of it. I think it's because the WWE knows that that's how we actually feel. That the WWE is holding back the smaller guys and just putting over the bigger guys. They know exactly how we feel, and they're using our feelings against us. Not really say against us, but they're using it to get us to believe in their product. We actually are buying into the fact that the WWE is screwing Daniel Bryan. I mean, it's plain as day. Him making a tweet about how they're holding him back, then all of a sudden they're doing a promo on Raw and stuff like that. Actually addressing how the fans feel. If that was a problem of him going on Twitter and actually airing out his grievances, he would have been in mid-card hell or jobber hell or whatever. But obviously he's not. I think this whole time the WWE is doing all this on purpose for the sake of having us believe that they're actually doing something like that to one of their big stars. That is a possibility, but it just seems very obvious that that's what's happening. Because knowing them, I don't think they're that stupid enough to want to hold back somebody that they know that the crowd loves so much. I mean, throughout the whole Royal Rumble, people have been chanting for Daniel Bryan, rooting for Daniel Bryan. And when they didn't get what they want, they boo, boo, boo. Everybody, even Batista, who won it, who I feel shouldn't won the Royal Rumble. I know some people might think that I'm still defending WWE, but maybe I am. But I think that with the WWE doing this, I think also that Daniel Bryan is in on this also. Because let's face it, if he was that unhappy with how WWE is handling him, he wouldn't have that big, huge performance he had with Bray Wyatt. Think about it. I have seen guys who are unhappy with their bookings and the direction, and their work shows it. I even had people come up to me and say, you know, I can tell you're not happy with this company because your work shows it. You know, people can say, oh, that's just because of him being professional. But think about it, guys. If Daniel Bryan was that unhappy, he wouldn't give 110% of his time and his body for that company still. And I may say that you guys that got worked by the WWE, but I can say the same thing that I was worked too. I got worked as well. I'm willing to admit that. Bottom line is, I think this whole thing is a work. And I still feel there's going to be a lot of great things coming out for Daniel Bryan. Heck, it still is. It still is. Look at him. People love him to freaking death. People are willing to sell their souls for him. That's how over he is. And I still stand by, he don't need the belt to get over. And even Jim Ross feels the same way too. But I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think this is a work? If not, feel free to comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. But I, for one, still think that Daniel Bryan is still the focal point of this company. And I think that this is probably one of the most believable storylines that WWE has ever done. By actually using our feelings about Daniel Bryan as a work. Into a work. And like I said, I think Daniel Bryan is also in on it too. Because if he was that unhappy, it would have showed in his performance. And I've seen the best guys who are unhappy and don't give 110% of their heart and soul to something they like and love when they're unhappy in an environment. I've seen it firsthand. And I even been there when I was unhappy with a company, and my work showed it. Tell me what you guys think. Take care.